Ooh, welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Presman, and due to all the people, who said how good I look in black, I wore another black shirt. What a show we got lined up. Tons of actionable betting information. Andy Lang will be joining us right off the bat. He's got 2 NFL prop bets that you don't want to miss. Andy's incredible at NFL prop betting, at all prop betting, so stay with us for that. After him, Gianni The Greek joining us. He's got 2 UFC bets that he'll give out. Plus, we're going to go through the entire college football and NFL card. We're going to end the show with the wonderful, incredible, and informative Dave Mason from BetOnline. Teddy Covers is my co-host. I'm Lawrence Presman, and I know that there's this slight little ringing. And I read the comments yesterday, and I think it's coming from my microphone. And after the show, Dan and I are going to get together and try to solve it. So let's hope this is the last day for that ringing. Teddy Covers, what is your big game breakdown, my brother?
We're going to break down the Rams and the Seahawks, which is a client play for me this weekend. So if you watch the show, you'll get it here for free. And of course, in What Bettors Learned, we're going to talk about Malachi Corley dropping the ball at the 1-inch line last night and the repercussions, some thoughts about that. So, yeah, should be a loaded Friday edition. It's Football Friday, Prez. Let's get ready.
Yeah, and I have stuff to add about that situation as well. Teddy, before we bring on Andy Lang, real quick, New York Jets playing Arizona next week. We have a look headline of a pick'em. Are the New York Jets... are they a team that you think are bet on now moving forward? Is this a team that sort of shed the garbage, found their way in that second half? Aaron Rodgers did make some good plays. Davante Adams finally caught the ball. There was some balance to the offense. The defense did play well. Is this a team you're going to look to bet on moving forward?
I have not yet handicapped next week's Arizona Cardinals game. When it comes to the Jets, there's hope for the Jets. That does not necessarily mean bet on, but when we look at their schedule, not just for next week, but moving forward, this team could be 500 going into December and still very much alive for a playoff berth.
Andy Lang joining us. Andy, nice to have you with us, man. How's the NBA going for you now that we're a week in?
4-0, so couldn't be going better. So I've been very selective with the plays. So it's always nice to get off to a 4-0 start. Much better than 0-4. A wise man once told me that. So, yeah, we got a 4% play up tonight, hoping to make it 5-0.
Yeah, and Andy, we did not discuss this. I had no idea you went 4-0, but boy, did I throw you a nice softball there.
Very, very cagey move.
You could have turned to me and be like, Prez, why did you ask? I'm 1-9. Chuba, Chaba, Haba. Chaba, Haba. You like over 53.5. Now, I remember you gave out a Chaba Haba last week or the week before. Did you win that one? And why do you like this Sunday's play?
Well, we like him this Sunday because he gets the worst rush defense in the NFL the last 3 games. The Saints are giving up 208 points, like rushing yards. So this is just a team that is just getting gashed on the ground. I know Derek Carr's coming back, but it just doesn't. I don't think that fixes the defense at all. So time of possession has not been good for the Saints. Maybe Derek Carr fixes that, but is Derek Carr coming back too early? I don't know. And this is a Carolina team that, listen, they don't want to be depending on the quarterback. So Chuba Hubbard's still their best option on offense. Deontay Johnson isn't there anymore. So the cupboard Hubbard is pretty bare there for Carolina. So not a lot of options. I think he gets a lot of carries, and I think he gets over this. So this is just a theme this NFL season. Try and find these bad defensive units, whether it's the passing game, whether it's the rushing game. Just fade them and take him over. We know he's going to be getting a bunch of carries. All he's got to do is, hopefully average that 4 to 4.5 yard mark, and I think he goes over here in a game that could be pretty close. This is a Saints team that's not playing very well, so there's no lock that this is just going to be another blowout for the Panthers. They may keep this one close.
I mean, it was 47-10 when these two teams met the first time. Hubbard in that game, 6 carries, 14 yards. Does the handicap get affected at all if Carolina falls behind here like they tend to do when they play better teams or even worse teams? Doesn't matter who Carolina plays. They tend to fall behind. Is Hubbard going to get the carries?
Yeah, so in that game, Miles Sanders had 5 carries. Chuba only had 6. Bryce Young had 4. Mike Boone had 4. What? Like, so that game, they had 20 carries and they spread it out to, a bunch of different guys. But Hubbard, since then, he's been getting a majority of the work. He had 6 carries then, next week 10. And then after that, 21, 18, 13, 18, 17, 15. He's getting in the mid-teens. He's getting over sometimes with these 17, 18 carries. And I think maybe we're getting a little discount on this line because of the very first game.
Yeah.
So I'll happily take a little discount on a guy that's just going to be getting a lot of carries against a rush defense that's been horrible.
And, of course, an important part of your handicap, he is Canadian. Andy Lang joining us. Andy, I'm going to tell you a real quick conversation I had with Teddy on the phone yesterday, and then feel free to wade in. So I called Teddy up yesterday, and I'm like, let's go through the NFL card together. Do you want me to tell you what I like? No. No was his answer. No. Let's just go through one game
so
at a time.
Predictable. Cash the minus 500.
Yeah. He goes, let's go through it one game at a time. So we did. It wasn't a long convo. So we get to the New Orleans Carolina game, and I'm like, okay, well, here's what I like. I like New Orleans first half, minus 3.5. Teddy's like, why? And I'm like, Carolina is 1-14 ATS in the first half in their last 15 games. Guys, let me say that again. The Carolina Panthers are 1-14 in their last 15 games in the first half ATS. 10 of the last 11 games, the Carolina Panthers have walked into the dressing room at halftime down by 5 or more points. So, Teddy's response, well, what are they going to do the next 15 games? Do you put any weight in that trend at all, Andy Lang? Because I do. I feel like that trend has relevance.
It's a great trend. I mean, it's something that can't be ignored, but is that a play that you have been playing all this time?
No.
And that's the key. I'm jumping in. If you've been riding the first half trend, you ride it till it dies. If you want to jump in on a trend that's 14-1 last 15, after the 15 games have already been played, guess what? You missed it.
Point.
Yeah, that's the tough part about those trends is, I mean, Teddy, you know this. If you find a trend that's maybe 4-1, and you're like, oh, I think this has got some steam to it, and then it ends up 11-2, yes, you've caught it. But man, that's tough to jump into a 10 out of 11 and hope to cash it again. That's the only downside to it. Great trend. That's the one downside.
Yeah, and it's why I'm not releasing it to my clients, but I did want to make mention of it. And Teddy, I'm not mocking you. I think what you're saying has weight. I thought this was worthy of a discussion. Plus, I wanted to give that trend out to our listeners anyway. Andy,
I didn't feel mocked at all.
Okay, damn. Andy, Bo Nix, Denver. Man, this prop bet makes so much sense to me. Over 213 passing yards. 21 times this year, Baltimore is allowed to pass over 25 yards. 21 times. This is the worst pass defense one of the worst pass defenses in the league. And one that's just been gashed game after game after game. So, yeah, I'm with you here. Tell us what your thoughts are.
Yeah, it's pretty simple analysis. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, this is why would you even try to rush the ball a lot against this Baltimore Ravens? I mean, they're dead last in yards allowed passing per game by a long shot. Baltimore allows 291. Jacksonville's second worst at 271. So you're just getting gashed and gashed and gashed. And it's getting worse probably because they're number one in rush defense. 69.9 yards allowed per game. Even last week, Jameis comes and throws for 334 in his first game with Cleveland. So is Bo Nix lighting the world on fire? No, but he threw for 284 last week against a bad Carolina team. So this potentially could have a lot of yards in this game. Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens are moving the ball quite well, obviously. And to get a low number like 213.5 against the worst pass unit defensively in the league feels like a really, really nice number to me. So Bo Nix and the overs is going to be a nice source of profits, I have a feeling, on this weekend.
So Bo Nix on the road this year, 42 pass attempts for 138 yards at Seattle. He had 36 for 216 at Tampa. He had that game against the Jets where he got 60 passing yards. And at New Orleans, 26 attempts, 164 yards. The road Bo Nix has not been anywhere near the home Bo Nix. Does that worry you here when we're talking about a rookie QB hitting the highway?
Yeah, you're always going to be nervous when you're betting on a rookie quarterback. You know, the game against New Orleans, they were up so big, they just ran the ball against a terrible rush defense like we just talked about. So no need for him to throw. The Jets, second best in yards allowed. So that was just a tough one. And first 3 games of the season, you know, it's trying to get acclimated to the NFL. So yeah, you're never going to feel great about betting on a rookie quarterback, but I also feel like that's baked into the line, like 213.5. How many quarterbacks in this league would get that passing total against this Baltimore pass defense? So I think the books look at it and they go, well, he hasn't thrown for a lot. Like to your point, Teddy, on the road, but man, this is a really bad Baltimore pass defense. So I'll continue to keep fading them.
Yeah, and keep in mind, especially based on the line, which now has been bet down to 8, they expect Baltimore to be up by 2 scores. At least the bookmakers do, which will put Bo Nix in a must-throw situation. Andy Lang joining us. You're watching WagerTalk Today. Gianni The Greek still to come, and Dave Mason. Andy, what do you got to promote for your clients? I know you're killing it in the UFC, bro, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, UFC has been really good. We have a 5% play that is up in UFC, 5% play up in college football, and we have a 4% NBA play that goes off tonight. So we're doing a promo code for a 3-day pass. Deals don't get much better than this. Use the promo code 83 and you get a 3-day pass for $39. 5% play on its own is as owner, you're probably not real excited about this promo, but the people watching should be very excited. I mean, that's 2 5% plays and a 4% play, along with all of our NFL plays. We hit 70% of our NFL plays in October. We're up 163 units on the season. We're 7-2 this year in college football plays, 26 in lifetime. So it's just been a great ride, and we're 8-2 to start this week. So a lot of momentum going into the weekend, looking for a big weekend, and what a great time to use a 3-day pass here to grab all of those plays. Promo code Andy3, 3-day pass for $39, shortcut WT.buzz/AL.
Andy, as one of the owners, I would be ecstatic if everybody buys that package, because anytime they're playing you, they're going to win. And I want happy clients who have, fat pockets full of cash. In all seriousness, really one of the best handicappers on the planet. That's what you are, Andy. So get the hell out of here now and go cash some tickets. Teddy covers. Yeah, dude, that wide receiver, running back, I didn't even, whatever position he was, I was barely watching the game. I was playing poker, but I did see what he did. And I don't think he'll ever get a touchdown again. I think this guy's life is ruined. Go ahead.
Let's talk about Malachi Corley, the rookie out of Western Kentucky. 3rd-round draft choice by the Jets. In the first 7 games of the season, no carries, 1 catch, 4 yards. So really not much on-field experience. And of course, if you watched the game last night or watched the highlights afterwards, you saw he breaks free. He's going to put the Jets up 7-0. So excited for that first NFL touchdown, as anyone would be. And he drops the ball before he breaks the plane, a half inch, a foot, whatever it is, before the goal line. Over bettors were not amused. Jets bettors were not amused. And what do you say to that? Yeah, I wouldn't be amused either. A smart handicapper once told me one of the first lessons I ever learned in Vegas, and it stuck with me. This is back from the 90s. He said, winning teams find ways to win. Losing teams find ways to lose. Sometimes new ways every week they'll find ways to lose. And that's real. And sometimes your dude breaks free for the touchdown and then drops the ball at the 1-inch line by accident because he's so excited to score his first NFL touchdown. And that, by the way, is why we don't ever, ever, ever bet more than 5% of your bankroll on any game. 5% big tickets, the biggest plays we have. Why? Humans are human. These games aren't fixed. These games aren't scripted. Vegas didn't call Corley and say, drop the ball at the 1-inch line. Shit happens. That said, cross the freaking goal line, bro. And oh, by the way, when all said and done, after all the, oh my God, Corley, it didn't affect the side. It didn't affect the total. The Jets would have won and covered with the touchdown. They would have won and covered without the touchdown. The game goes under with the touchdown. The game goes under without the touchdown. And as you mentioned, Lawrence, again, Thursday nights are pretty random. I don't like to take too many takeaways off Thursday night NFL, but there could be a buy sign on the New York Football Jets moving forward. That's what I learned last night. Lawrence, back to you, my friend.
Teddy, I think that segment really summed us up personality-wise. You live, sleep, eat, drink, piss, shit, sports betting. I literally watched a guy ruin his life last night. You watched a guy maybe potentially cash or not cash tickets for other people. It's just interesting because I see this whole thing empathetically. Like, oh my God, what has this guy done? It took his dream was to make the NFL. No one's ever heard of this guy. No one will ever hear of him again. He might have been released at halftime. Oh, I feel so bad for this guy. It's insane. I know Dan Alexander, Deshaun Jackson did the same thing. I know. Others have done the same thing, dude. But those were at least players. This guy
Deshaun's
is not
a star
a player
when he's doing that. Exactly.
Right.
This guy's, he has one catch prior to last night in his career.
Yeah.
But he'll get another chance, Lawrence. He's a third-round rookie. He'll be fine. He'll live through it. He'll grow from the experience.
I hope so, Teddy. Gianni The Greek about to join us. Teddy, what do you have going with the clients this weekend, my friend?
5% big ticket in the NFL.
Wow.
Those have been outstanding. I think, 73% dating back the last couple of years with the 5% big tickets. We've been running good all week in the NBA. We're in NBA tonight with an ESPN winner and the college card. I've only posted one college play so far. I'll have the rest of them up later this morning, some point between this show and college football today and the other shows we do on Fridays. We'll get the college football posted relatively shortly. How about you, Lawrence? What do you have going? I know that's why you asked me.
So, no. I was genuinely curious, especially after we spoke yesterday and you went through the board with me. And so last night I almost had my first 3-0 NHL night. Oh, man, I won my first 2 games. My third game, I had over 6 in the Chicago-San Jose game. I don't know why it's your face, but Dan must like you.
Yeah, that happened yesterday, too, for a long time. Where I'm just sitting there looking, and you're talking, and I'm looking.
Dan is busy.
I don't know if
He's busy.
If there's sticky keys or what's going on, but
okay. Well, anyway, I almost pulled a 3-0 last night. I had over 6 in the San Jose Chicago game, 3-2, with like 6 minutes to go in the second period, and I could not get another freaking goal. So I still had a good night. I got 1 NHL up tonight, 2 NBAs tomorrow, 5 college football with a 4%er. And on Sunday, I have 5 plays, including 2 4% plays. I know we're always pushed for time, but I got to ask you this, Teddy. Do you ever feel like a run is about to happen? And the reason I say that is I had a horrible 4 months of betting. I told everybody, you knew about it. Everybody in the chat room knows about it. And the last 7 days have been good. I've won 5 of the last 7, but all of them have been like 2-2 winning the big game, or 3-2 or 4-2 or 4-3. No breakout. I feel like I am on the verge of a special run. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Good luck with that.
Okay, Gianni. Teddy does not want to bite. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Good luck with that. Absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm feeling it myself, Prez. I've been feeling it myself lately, so I know it's in the air. It's that
Yeah.
winning in the air. You feel that spirit out there. I'm feeling the exact same way.
Love having you with us, my friend. Like the shirt. You look good. How you
Thank
been?
you.
How's your week?
God bless America. I've been good, man. I can't complain. Really heating up finally. Better late than never. And good time for that because there's a lot going on. But I've been good, man. Staying healthy. Other than that, just working, grinding, baby.
I had a lot of fun hosting the Wager Talk Last Call with you on Sunday. God bless Canada. Let's get into the UFC. Saturday, 2 bets. Jamey-Lyn, Horth.
Is the
Rodrigo,
first bet.
Something or other. Fill us in.
Nascimento. This is one of the first times in a while that I fired right away. I released 5 plays to my subscribers probably last Sunday or Monday at the latest with a 5% play. So 4% and a 5% play in the UFC. They just jumped off the board at me and the markets moved our way. So it seems like at least we've gotten the best of it in most of these. Now, let me start off with Jamey-Lyn Horth. I gave her out at about minus 190. She's good up until minus 300. It's another favorite. I talked about it a couple times on the show where it's about a 2-1 favorite that should be upwards of a 3-1 favorite, where we have that built-in edge already, mostly because the Petrovic side, she's coming in off her first UFC win. But phony is a $3 bill against an opponent that had zero UFC wins. Petrovic closed as a moneyline favorite in both her UFC fights, have close to minus 340. She's underperformed the betting market. I like Jamey-Lyn Horth, who's coming off her first UFC loss, her first loss of her career. This is a step down for Jamey-Lyn Horth for sure. And even better, I'm starting to see a lot of love for the Petrovic side because of the flashier rate. She's won 7 of 8 fights. She's coming in off her first UFC win. But skill set wise, it's day and night. Jamey-Lyn Horth gets the win. First fight of the night, I believe. Lay the minus 200, 240, 250, whatever it is. Like I said, you're good up until minus 300. And the other one I really like is Nascimento over the Russian Romanov. Bottom line, Romanov came into the UFC undefeated. I think he had like 15-0, something along those lines. Now he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. Remember, at heavyweight, they needed bodies. This is a guy that they were pushing to make a run for a title. But as he moved up, strength of schedule, we saw what started to happen. He wasn't able to win at that level. And now he comes in with terrible momentum, having lost 3 of 4. Nascimento comes in the opposite, having won 3 of his last 4. In fact, he's coming in off a loss. I think he's going to bounce back here. It was just one of those shots where Derek Lewis has a ton of power, landed the big shot, and that was it. In this one, Nascimento is going to have a nice 5-inch reach advantage. And when you look at the strength of schedule, the perception out there is Romanov has faced the toughest in the UFC. Maybe, but hasn't beaten them. If you look at the overall record and strength of schedule, they're about exactly even, meaning Nascimento's opponents won 59% of their UFC fights. Romanov's won 58%. But it's the losses. When you look at the losses, Romanov's losses come against guys that were 18-10. So when he stepped up, he hasn't been able to get it done. And this is another step up for him. Most won't give the credit to Nascimento, I do, but I think you're going to see that on Saturday night, why he should be upwards of a minus 150, 160 favorite in this fight. We're fading some of the sharp money, but I have no problem doing that in MMA because we see a lot of manipulation, more manipulation in this market than any other. So even when I see some of that steam go against me early, it doesn't make me nervous. Take Jamey-Lyn Horth early, take Nascimento later in the day, you should do good.
Gianni The Greek talking UFC, where he's been outstanding all year long. Gianni, we love having you on because of your breadth of knowledge and your depth of knowledge. We talked some UFC. Let's talk a little football for the weekend. You tell me, you want to start some college? You want to talk some NFL? Where are you firing? What are you hearing? You've got your ear to the grindstone when it comes to who many of the big syndicates like when it comes to footballs this weekend. Football.
I love it.
Football.
I love it. And I love all the pushback of all the talk ever since I said Ohio State's the best team in the country and Oregon's as phony as a $3 bill. I haven't heard the end of it, Teddy. Haven't heard the end of it just because they played earlier in the year. But we know how random that one game is. And we also know how Oregon got lucky towards the end anyway. And enough about that. Let's talk college football real quickly. Tonight, we're moved on under in the Boise State game. on San Diego State. I think we got down at about at 58. Even 57, I think you're good. I'm not sure if there's any of those available anymore, but one of the groups I work with did hit under 57. So they really like the under in that Boise State game. And the team total tonight, also Georgia State over 19.5 was one of those team totals that we got down on, actually released as a premium play. Couple bets for Saturday that jump out. First half total that I got today, Indiana and Michigan State, over 26, over 26.5, over 27. So they're going Indiana, Michigan. In fact, they started betting the over in the first half at 25.5. Don't know why they like the over that much in the first half, but they went 25.5, 26, 26.5, and 27 on Indiana and Michigan State. Also, I talked about it earlier on Bet On It. Washington. Anytime a 3 pops up on Washington, they're grabbing it, just like they're grabbing the 4 on Penn State. They also went over in that Washington game. And finally, Michigan State against against Indiana. I'm not seeing the respect in the betting market, but I can tell you with certainty that I've bet it multiple times, gotten down on the Michigan State side. I don't know whether there's resistance or whether it's just enough public money probably on, that's a little early for that, but on the Indiana side, again, I just think they're going to start regressing towards the mean. Now, real quickly, I'll jump into NFL because I know time is sensitive. So I'll just give you some of the bets that we got down on instead of going all over the board. Tennessee, I talked about Tennessee Titans, LA Chargers, and the over. We went over there. Baltimore, we're looking at Baltimore. I didn't lay it, but I laid it for one of the guys I work with. They laid the 9.5 on Baltimore. They went over 43.5 and 44 in Washington. And the New York Giants over in the Rams Seattle at 48.5 and 49. And a couple other sharp plays that, I trade with other guys that move for other groups. I haven't used them yet, but these are all sharp for sure. Indiana, Carolina, and the under in Jacksonville, Philadelphia. Indiana, Carolina, under Jacksonville, Philadelphia. Carolina, again, tough to bet that team, but those are usually the ones that the ones that are hardest to bet usually win the easiest, and the ones that are the easiest to bet usually are the toughest that we're holding on for dear life. I kind of like when I'm nervous betting a bet because you don't want to do it. Those are the kind that usually do better. The kind that you're the most confident about usually skip something. But again, if they're betting Carolina, there's got to be a reason, but I'm not too excited about them.
Gianni The
Some
Greek,
of the NFL.
what's going on for your clients and you doing the steam room Saturday and Sunday? Fill us in.
Going to do it Sunday to go over every NFL game. And again, more importantly, the Wong teaser. I'm going to jump on last call and do the Wong teaser. I gave out 3 of them on Sunday, and they went 3-0. Narrowed it down to the 3. The last 4 weeks, here's what the Wong teaser has done with the parameters that we've set. Over the last 3 years, I've changed the parameters of the Wong teaser, and this is what it's produced. Last 3 weeks, 5-0 in week 5, 4-0 in week 6, 3-0 in week 7, 3-0 in week 8. Over from week 2 to week 8, 27-6. Again, 0 handicapping necessary. It only matters that the market's at its most efficient, and we could tease through those key numbers. So make sure you keep wonging away. And steam room on Sunday, and I got a 5% in UFC, 5% in NFL. Well, I've won 5 of 7 for got a big play. I didn't have a 5% last week in NFL, but I do this week, fired already. Just a lot going on, man. And I'm at my hottest right now. I think I won 11 of the last 12 bets. So seeing the board real clearly.
Gianni The Greek, make sure you vote, brother. Get out of here. Lots of love.
Thank you.
Teddy
Thank you.
covers. Dave Mason's still to come, and we're going to dig deep into the election odds as the election is right around the corner. You have voted already. I hope everybody in the chat room has or will be voting. Theodore, it's time for your big game breakdown, and then we'll bring Dave Mason in. Oh, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit it!
Let's talk about the Seahawks and the Rams. NFL Sunday right now. Look at the WagerTalk free live odds screen. I'm seeing LA -1. We'll call that the prevailing number. Total sitting around 48. So we're seeing the Rams as road favorites in Seattle. Is it merited? Well, this is a client play for me. And yes, I do think it is merited for LA to be favored in this ballgame. That 3-0 start for Seattle's a long way in the rearview mirror now. They got Bo Nix in his first game with a team lined at 5.5 wins. By the way, he didn't cover that game. They beat the Pats in overtime by a field goal. Didn't cover that game. And they beat the Dolphins the game after Tua got hurt. I had Miami in that game. Trust me, Seattle was not good. But the Dolphins were worse. They hit a couple of deep balls to Metcalf. Didn't do much else. Miami had 300 chances. But the Tim Boyle, Skylar Thompson combo wasn't good enough. Since that time, since those 3 fortuitous wins to open the season, Seattle's 1-4. And the one came at Atlanta after the Falcons had just won 3 straight divisional games, and they came out flat as a pancake. They haven't beaten a decent team in a decent spot all year. We have a first-time head coach who's going through some adversity. Geno Smith, what do we say? He's not Matthew Stafford. You know, Geno's a career backup. He's mediocre. He's okay, but Geno's not winning you a ring. He's just not. DK Metcalf was supposed to, he missed last week's game, was supposed to practice yesterday, did not. That's not a good sign for his availability this week. Without him last week, Seattle 1 of 7 on third downs. Geno's first game all year, we didn't throw a touchdown pass, and they got outgained by more than 200 yards. I think Seattle's a fade. The Rams, on the other hand, you know, they've seen the abyss, and they've come back from it. The win last week, by the way, on Thursday night, giving them extra time to prepare for this. Puka Nacua comes back. Cooper Kupp comes back. All of a sudden, Matthew Stafford's throwing 4 touchdowns. They're going 3 for 3 in the red zone. Kyron Williams has room to run. You know, Sean McVay. I believe in this group. I saw resolve. I didn't see a flinch. We've done a good job getting ourselves back to where we wanted to be. LA's goals are still right in front of them. They win this game. They're back to 500. They're very much in the playoff chase. I know their defensive stats are mediocre at best. They're ranked 30th against the pass in DVOA. That is a concern. But frankly, LA's the better of these two teams, and I think they're going to get the W. Give me the Rams. Take them -1. I took them on the money line, and I advise my clients to do the same. There's your big game breakdown. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the follows. We appreciate the comments very, very much. Thanks for watching. Prez, back to you, my friend.
Teddy covers. Let's bring Dave Mason in right away. We got 10 more minutes left of the show. Dave, how are you doing, man? How did last week go for the BetOnline gang?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Decent. Not September good, but we didn't get our teeth kicked in like a few weeks ago, so decent.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Are there any repercussions off of, like, you know, you had a really bad weekend? Has anything changed? Are people stressed out? Are people worried? You know, you're like, if we have another one like this, we're going to be a problem. Everyone cashing out, or is it, hey, we've done this long enough, we can roll with the punches pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not like, hey, this is whatever, you know, but you know, it's part of the game. You know, it's going to happen during the season. There's going to be ebbs and flows. You know, and you know, I work more in the marketing side of things, so kind of some of the metrics we look at, different from the stage, are you know actives on the site, because a lot of players disappear during the season, and there's nothing better for keeping active on the site when they win. You know, if you're beating the hell out of the players, a lot of them disappear. You know, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, we're down, you know, 15% of our actives that we were here 3 weeks ago, but vice versa. You know, when you're winning or when you're losing to the players, well, the casino manager's happy as hell, and your active numbers are up. You know that Monday Night Football game is going to have great volume, and you know, as long as you've been around the block like us, have deep pockets, you know, you just go through the motions. It's not like we're happy and high-fiving each other, but you know, you know, it's part of the game.
So we're going to talk NFL and college football and spend the time that we had with that. But this is the last chance we get to talk to you before the presidential election in the U.S. next week. Let's talk about where the odds are, Trump-Harris right now, and what you expect to see before kickoff is not the right word, before election, before the vote gets decided. And tell me how you're going to grade if there's controversy.
I mean, the odds right now are Trump -175, Harris +150. I mean, that was -210, I think, 3 days ago. I forget, all these darn days are running together with this damn election. But yeah, so 175 +150 coming down. Popper vote, Harris is -240, Trump is 2-1 there. we need. I mean, money's coming in on Harris, so we need Trump again for the outright market. We had a nice win-win there for the better part of a week. And, but it's bouncing back and forth. Where's this going to end up? I don't know. I think it's going to keep coming down a little bit personally, but I won't be surprised either way. But I'm thinking, going into election day, I'm thinking 145, 150, but please don't quote me on that. This is such a hard market to read, man. So that's just a semi-educated guess of mine. It's a tough one, but I mean, how we're going to grade it, we have wording right on the site there. But we have to. People have to understand this is not like an NFL game where the box score is you go to ESPN and you check the score. This, especially since 2020, these are a mess now. There's no matter which side loses, they're gonna protest and filings and everything. But we'll grade it as early as possible. Hopefully, it's nice and easy and early. Hopefully, the loser concedes and it's nice and easy and early, and it's a quick one. But I highly doubt that. So the bettors just have to know that, we're going to grade as soon as possible, the most fair way, but you have to be patient too. This is not a Monday Night Football game where you check the ESPN box score. There's the score. That makes sense. All these networks are going to be predicting stuff. They jump the gun sometimes. So this is just a very unique event. Please be aware of that. But we want it graded faster than anybody because we don't want people calling us as a customer service. We don't want disgruntled bettors on each side. Grade it, don't grade it. I mean, that's what's happened in 2020 is like, what the hell? So it's a unique event. It's a crazy event, but hopefully it's over soon, Teddy.
Yeah.
At Dave Mason, BOL on Twitter. He's an excellent follow on Twitter. He'll consistently give you rundowns of which sides are getting significant betting action. He's a good follow at Dave Mason, BOL on Twitter. Dave, last question about the election. For NFL games, you're going to get the majority of your money coming on game day. The pros are going to bet all week, but most of the Joes aren't going to get involved until the Sunday morning, Monday night, whatever. Is it work that way with the presidential elections as well? Do you expect to see unbelievable handle over the next week, or do you think a lot of the action that you've already gotten is what you're going to get?
We're talking about small sample size because the election's only once every 4 years, right? Then the only two elections that did incredible action. Election betting really took off in 2016. Then the 2020 went to another level, and now it's even surpassing that. So, I mean, there's still so much action to come. Is it the late? It's probably not as much late action as NFL games, but it's still a ton of late action. I mean, I think back to 2020, and that was one of the heaviest traffic days in the history of BetOnline. So a lot of people, you would think if all these people have their bets in, why are they coming back to the site for election odds? But they did. I mean, it was crazy, and we're going to have a live betting on the day of election. So, but it will be located within our sports book where the odds are now, not the live betting software. So if anybody out there listening, we will have live betting. It's a very popular question right now. So odds will be flying, money will be pouring in, live betting without a doubt.
Exciting day. Dave, we got to turn our attention to some sports, but I recall, and I could be wrong, but I recall Hillary Clinton was minus 800 of the morning.
She was minus 800. She went from minus 800 to plus 800 in a matter of an hour.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
In 2016. No, I remember texting my friends back east. I'm like, it's over. They were thinking, I'm like, well, when the markets move like that, it's over. And my friends back east didn't believe me.
Okay, Dave Mason. Let's talk some NFL and then some college, but NFL first. What are you seeing, hearing, liking?
Let's see. Let's go with public action first. These are bet counts tickets. 63% on the Chargers, 80% on the Bills. That also has the highest bet count. So that's the most popular bet of the weekend so far. Denver getting 9 at the Ravens, 76% of the bettors are on Broncos, 64% on the Vikings, 76% on Washington. Again, they've turned into a public team this year. Rams, 77% on the Rams, and Detroit getting a lot of bets on that game. Obviously, 60% on Detroit. As far as the sharp action, you got the Browns +2, Saints -6, Raiders +8.5. Eagles -6.5, Falcons -3, and Jets last night were sharp as well.
The Jets got the money last night. Any interesting prop decisions or anything with that kid dropping the ball at the 1-inch line last night? Did that mess anything up, or it didn't affect side
Nah,
total?
I don't think. Yeah, to tell you the truth, I don't really pay attention to mess. I think I don't think so. I'm sure there were some kind of ramifications there. I'm surprised we didn't get a hit of all on Twitter or anything. Hey, can you pay my first TD for that bad beat or something? Thank God. I think players are realizing that's not the way to go anymore. That fad is over with. But no, I don't think so, Teddy.
Dave Mason. BetOnline is one of the books we have up on our live odds screen. Guys, if you haven't checked out our WagerTalk live odds screen, it's one of the best in the world.
Free.
Philly, according to our live odds screen, is -7.5 at BetOnline. You took a lot of bets at 6.5. Where are you now?
Let me see there. I think. Let me see. 1 second. 7. Is it 7? No, yeah, 7.5. 7.5 -106.
-6. Yeah.
And you're still taking bets at that number.
Looks like it. I mean,
what he said. Sorry, Dave.
A little bit more than.
That's what happens when we can't see each other. I'm going to say it, and then you talk, Dave. What he said was they took sharp action at 6.5 and 7, not at 7.5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's the overall volume is close to 50-50. A little bit more on the Eagles. A sharper side was Eagles, but overall volume is close to 50-50. Bet count is on the Eagles, not by much, like 58%, 59, 60%. Not a lot of bets though. It's one of the lower bet count games right now, but it's a 4:00 game. But not a lot of bets.
Relatively quiet action so far for the Jags and the Eagles. Dave Mason, we're out of time, my friend. Real quick, anything stand out in college football that our audience should know about, in terms of where the
I'll just run down some sharp real quick. Georgia State +8, ODU -2.5, Auburn -7, Ole Miss -7, Duke +21, Purdue -1, Florida +16, on and on and on. So big game. Ohio State, Penn State, 57% of the bets on PSU, 68% of cash is on the Nittany Lions. A little bit of sharp on +4 and +3.5.
That's Dave Mason. He's firing out the info, and it's info that we can all use. Dave, promote yourself, man. What's going on at BOL this weekend?
Well, the big thing again is the election. Come on over. You want to bet the election? You can't bet it everywhere, but you can bet it at BetOnline. And we had the largest offering, tons of props, high limits. Our limits are up to $100,000 plus rebet on the main market. So if you want to get in on this action, on this election, come on over to betonline.ag.
Great stuff. Dave Mason, thank you so much. I'm not going to wish you too much luck this weekend, but I hope you personally have a good weekend. And that's going to wrap it for the Friday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again on Monday. Of course, on the weekend, Wager Talk Last Call. Every bit as good, maybe better, because I'm not on it. But between now and Monday's show, best of luck with all your bets this weekend, and stay tuned right now for Lawrence's daily presidential address.
Welcome, everybody, to the daily presidential address for Friday. I've got one NFL bet to give out to you guys. It's on the Patriots and the Titans game. Before we get into that, the penalty box segment is live on our YouTube channel, WagerTalk.tv. I give 3 bets out in tonight's hockey card. 2 of them are big live dogs, so it's definitely worth checking out the penalty box segment. As well, the NFL presidential address is up, where I take apart every single NFL game on the board. Last week, we took apart 12 of those games. We went 10-2, so please check that out. Okay, as for the New England Patriots and the Tennessee Titans, lots of money has come in on Tennessee. Lots. A lot of smart, talented bettors like Tennessee, and it's why we're seeing 3.5s out there in some of the books, and I get it. I like Tennessee -3. I don't like them at -3.5, but I do like them at -3. But that's not where I'm going to go in this game. Bottom line is, how do you not look at the under in this football game? I understand it's 38, but both teams are horrible on offense. New England, they're averaging 15.5 points per game. Tennessee, 17.1 points per game. They are literally the number 1 and 2 worst passing teams in all of football. Both these teams average less than 164 yards in the air per game. The Patriots average less than 150 yards in the air per game. Kirk Cousins put up 500 yards in the air in one game this year already. These two teams can't break 164. Both these teams were expected to have great D units, but that has not happened. The Titans are amazing, incredible in stopping yards. Like, that's a thing. They're the third worst team in the league in stopping actual points. And New England, bottom half of the league. So I understand the defenses suck. Well, not suck, but not as good as we expected. I just don't think anyone can take advantage of that. When you don't throw the ball and your offense is terrible and completely out of sync and has been that way since day one, it doesn't matter how bad the defense is. You can't take advantage. Now, keep in mind, Tennessee has had moments of greatness on defense. They are number 1 in the league in stopping the pass. Number 1 in stopping the pass. Now, granted, most teams are already whooping them, so they're running the ball a lot, but still, a good enough defense for us to look at this under. I will say this, though. The Titans, this team came into the season with high expectations, and they are loaded with talent. They just can't seem to get out of their own damn way. I have no issue if you take Tennessee here. They're the better team, but I honestly think we're going to see a 20-13 type of game. I think the Titans do cover, and I think this game goes under the total of 38. My favorite bet on this game is the under, but I like Tennessee as well. Be well, everybody. Kick ass this weekend. Don't go chasing. We'll see you Monday.